So this section used those two formulas. And again, area of the whole of just a circle, area of a sector. And you can either use area here or you can use pi r squared because that's what area is. So on this question, it says find the area of the sector formed by, it actually says sectors formed, but we're going to do just the one formed by DEF as in this sector. I would do 150 over 360 times pi, my radius is 9 squared. What you cannot do is simplify that 9 squared before you actually square it. So you have to make that 81. I can cancel through these zeros. 3 goes into both of these. I could do 5 over 12 times pi times 81. And then 12 and 81 are both divisible by 3. This would be 4, and this would be 27. Then I multiply 5 times 27. And I get 135. So 135 over 4 would be the exact inches, would be the exact value of the area of that sector. If it said to then round this to the nearest tenth or nearest hundredth, whatever it says, I would do 135 pi divided by 4, and that's 106.03. Again, depending on what it tells you to do tomorrow on your quiz, you'll need to follow instructions. If it says keep it exact, then I'm using the answer on the left. If it says round it, then I'm using the answer on the right. And if it does say round, it will tell you how many decimal places you need to round to, so you need to make sure you read the instructions. Mars.
Miss Chris, for what I did here, I originally did it round that. Got it right?
You want to keep it in fraction form, though, not decimal form. Again, depending on what the instructions say. If it just said to round it, then you could use your calculator that whole time. All right, 2 says use the area of the sector to find the area of the circle. So the formula, again, is the area of the sector equals the measure of the arc over 360 times, I can either use pi r squared or I can actually use area. What it gives you this time is the area of the sector, 64.5 equals the measure of the arc, which would be that 110, same as the central angle. And then all I'm missing is the area. I can cross through my zeros. I can multiply both sides by 36 over 11. Most likely on a question like this, it's going to ask you to round it. So if I did 36 times 64.5 and divided it by 11, I get 211.09. If it said nearest tenth, that'd be 211.1. And if it wanted units, centimeters squared.
How is this one different from the previous question?
Because this time they gave you the area of the sector and they wanted the area of the circle. Yep. Okay. They're not all going to be like that for a variety of topics. But
Go back to,
all right, 3 says find the area of the shaded region. So if I want all that shaded space, I have to find the area of the big shape, which is what kind of a polygon? The big shape, rectangle. So I'm going to find the area of the rectangle, and from it, I'm going to subtract the area of those circles. There are actually how many circles there? Good. There's 2 and 2 halves, but those 2 halves make the easy killer. Make the 1. So you can either do the area of one circle and then do 3 times it, okay? Or you could add them all together. It doesn't matter how you do it, okay? As long as in the end it's that way. So the area of the rectangle would be 18 times 6, or 108. And then the area of one of the circles, if this is my diameter, my radius is what? 3. So the area of one circle would be pi times 3 squared, or 9 pi. And there are 3 of those. So exact answer would be 108 minus 27 pi. As a rounded answer, 108 minus 27 pi. Because there's 3 of those circles.
I don't know how many significant figures.
It will tell you on the quiz. All right, stop. Shh. If you have a specific question, feel free to say it. But how did you get that is not specific enough. Yes.
Shouldn't it be, the radius is 3, right?
Correct.
And then if you do that, that's pi times 9, right?
Correct. That's one circle. and there are 3 circles.
There's 3 circles, right?
So 3 times 9 pi is 27. And then it'd be the rectangle minus, hold please. It'd be the rectangle minus the area of those 3 circles.
You guys gotta think outside the
9 pi
box.
is 28.
27 is the 3 times the pi. The pi is still part of 27 pi. Okay. Hang on, Santi. Let me go over these 2 questions. Sonny, if you sit down.
I thought we were done.
No. Number 5 said describe the error in finding the area of the sector and when the area of Z is 255 square feet. So if I'm trying to find the area of the sector, I need 115 over 360 times the area of the sector or the circle, which is 255. So the error is that they separated them out, right? They actually put one on one side and one on the other. You want them to both be on the same side. Yeah. And then if it actually said correct the error, found it, you would just multiply this out.
And then that's what you get.
Yeah.
So the area, how did they get the area?
The area of the circle or the area of the sector?
255.
It's in the instructions.
I know, but let's say it wasn't. How would they get it?
They would have had to give you the radius.
So 2 pi, pi r squared is that?
Correct.
And then pi r squared is the area of the circle or
The circle. Yeah, the circle. All right, this one said find the area of the shaded region. So the big shape that you are then subtracting the circles from is a square. So I'm going to find the area of the square, and then I'm going to subtract from it the area of the 4 circles. Area of the square would be 20 times 20, or 20 squared. That's 400. And then if this whole thing is 20, half of it would make up the diameter of one of the circles, which would be 10. And then half of that would be the radius, which is 5. So one circle is 5 squared times pi, or 25 pi. And there are 4 of those.
4 times 25 pi. Yeah.
So 400 minus 100 pi would be how it is written exact. And then 400 minus 100 pi is 85.84. Good? Yeah. Okay. So your quiz, which is tomorrow.
This last chapter,
Shh. Focus, Kumar. This says find the area of the shaded region around your answer to the nearest hundredth. If I want to find the blue space, I have to do what? Jonathan, you had your hand up first. Go. Can you what?
can you say what I don't know what you mean by find the area of blue space. I know it's just
That is
pi r
how you solve it.
pi r squared.
Okay, so the whole circle would be pi r squared, yes?
But I got
And then you have to subtract from it what?
the area of the quadrilateral.
God bless you. The area of the
Quadrilateral.
quadrilateral or 2 triangles put together. You could do it either way, right?
Yeah.
So it would be 2 times the triangles because those 2 triangles are congruent, right? How do I find
Makes sense.
the radius? Start there.
Ooh, I know.
How do you find the radius?
I assume that I thought. Okay, you know how those are inscribed angles or inscribed points like this?
Yes.
I put that it's equal to 90 because it's on the 180 line, so it's equal to 90 degrees.
Okay.
So I assume it's a right angle with 3 and 4. So
Yep.
3 squared plus 4 squared equals 25.
Okay.
So then the hypotenuse or the diameter is 25 or just 5.
5. Good. Yep.
The radius.
Now that's also a triple, right? 3, 4, 5 is a triple.
Okay.
So the radius is
2.5.
good.
So I got the area of the circle.
Yeah. Okay. Now how do you find the area of one of the triangles?
Just 3 times 4 divided by 2.
Good. A half base times height. So the base and the height would be 3 and 4.
Or you don't have to do half, see,
Because you don't, but there's 2 of them.
Okay, you can also just do 3 times 4. Good. So 2 times 6, or not doing the 1/2, is 12. Kept exact, it looks like that. 6.25 pi minus 12. Hang on, dude. Gives you 7.63.
Question.
Okay, is covering 11.1. This says 11.1, 11.4, but the 3 and 4 are whited out. It's just 11.4, 11.2. Okay. What you need to know for these two from 11.1 was the circumference, 2 pi r, or pi d. And then the length of the arc equals the measure of the arc over 360 times pi r, or 2 pi r, or times pi d, or times circumference. You can use any one of those three. And then we did the area, which we did at the beginning of this 11.2, which is the area of the circle, pi r squared. The area of a sector, so a part of the circle, would be the measure of the arc over 360 times pi r squared, or times area, because those are the same things. I'm not done yet. There's one more thing you got to know, and that, well, two more things, really. And that is how to convert from radians to degrees and degrees to radians.
Oh.
So degrees to radians,
Oh yeah.
you do the angle
'Cause it-
times pi over 180. And then radians to degrees, you do the angle times 180 over pi. And again, on your quiz, some of them say keep exact and some of them say round. So you want to be prepared for both. You're either simplifying and keeping them in exact, or you're using a decimal. Some of the questions on your quiz are multiple choice and some are open-ended. So you're going to have a combination of both. Yes.
What's the difference between circumference and the area of a circle?
The circumference is just the ring around the edge, like the perimeter, and the area is the filled-in space inside.
So it'll just ask us for the circumference.
Well, probably not straight up, but it could ask you for, yeah, I mean, there could be a question that says, here's your radius, find the circumference, or here's your diameter, find the circumference, or here's the circumference, find the radius, or here's the circumference, find the diameter. You could get questions like that. There are going to be very easy questions on this quiz, but you have to be careful about what you're reading and what it's asking for. Like if it asks for the diameter, make sure you're giving the diameter, not the radius. If it asks for the radius, make sure you're giving the radius, not the diameter.
Yes.
Because especially on multiple choice stuff, they're going to give you both of those options to try to throw you off. Read instructions carefully.
By they, you mean you.
Well, sort of. I mean, we pull from a, it's a combination of myself and Miss Corey, but we don't